Hi everyone, I'm Venmathi. I'm a biomedical engineer here in the Bay Area. This year I was honored to mentor Melanie, who's a sixth grader at Girls Middle School, Palo Alto. During our first call, she expressed a lot of interest in science and coding, especially coding because they seem to have started it this year at school, and she really particularly enjoyed coding in Scratch. So based on her interest, we picked a project that involved a little bit of hardware, an Arduino kit specifically. And considering the pandemic and all the remote learning situation, I was a little nervous about how we'd make this work, especially, if we had issues with hardware, how we troubleshoot, etc. But Melanie is very, very sharp and she was super engaged, and often she went above and beyond the homework that was assigned to her. And she also has a great sense of humor. So I believe the experience was a whole lot of fun for both of us. And by the end of our mentorship, she had even learned how to debug her hardware with very little guidance from me. And so I'm very proud to introduce her today, and I'll let her talk to you more about her work and her experience with this program.
Hi, so my mentor was Venmathi, and she works at Recor Medical, and she works in the healthcare industry on medical devices, and she is from India, and her hobbies are reading, hiking, baking, cooking, and painting. And my project is based on testing levels of pH, temperature in different liquids, and the title I named it was Arduino pH meter and thermometer. It's a project that combines chemistry, coding, and how to measure pH and temperature using Arduino and displaying their values. I selected this project because I wanted to learn about pH levels and about acids, and the thermometer is just an added bonus. And also I wanted to test the quality of the water I was drinking. So this is some of the things that I was using, which was an Arduino pH meter. And this is one water that I tested, and my room temperature was 23 Celsius. So yeah. And then this is just Arduino pH code that I had written, and it's mostly about how the libraries and like other things, but also it was about like how it would display every 20 milliseconds, and it would also it would display, it would get a new code or like a new temperature or new pH code every 20 milliseconds and print it out on the LCD every 1 second. And things I have learned is circuits and assembling and connecting the Arduino parts. Also programming with the Arduino Scratch. I didn't have any programming experience except for basic block movement in Scratch. And I learned how to program in Arduino in C language. And I learned chemistry concepts like pH levels, what's a neutral water pH level was, the relationship between pH and temperature. My magical experience. One highlight was that for homework, I was asked to add a second LED bulb, but I researched a bit more and I added 11 to make a sequence of lights. Another highlight would be reading about acids and bases, which was the most interesting to me. Another thing I learned was instead of coding with blocks on Scratch, I have started to learn how to write code in C language. Some challenges were doing research myself on how to add the LED bulbs to the breadboard and finding how to put the LED bulbs and writing the code. But overall, it was pretty great researching. This is the video. It does have sound, but I was testing it on orange juice, baking soda, cold water and hot water. In the orange juice, it would need to be a lower pH, and on the regular water would be like neutral to basic water. And here I'm testing it on the orange juice, which should be lower than 7. It should be acidic. It did take a while to like kind of get it in frame, but I also had like 2 cups with hot water and warm water. And there was also 1 cup with water and baking soda, which should be more towards the 7+, so it should be a higher pH. And here the pH was lower, and now I was going to put it into the water with baking soda because I would test the pH going higher. And it will take time kind of to get it in frame also again, but it should be 8 pH or higher. And here I was going to start testing the temperature code, and it would be the warm water and the hot water. I don't think in the little cups it would be noticeable, but one was hot and one was warm, so it should be higher and lower. But we were measuring it in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit, which also made it kind of hard for me because my normal temperature would be Fahrenheit. So we had to research what it was Celsius and if it was normal, because at one point it kind of like failed like completely, and it was like measuring like 127 Celsius, which was like totally wrong, and it shouldn't be that. And we had to call Venmathi to tell us how we were able to change it, because we couldn't find out how to change it. But overall, it was just printing it again and changing some things, and also the LCD. And here it is going lower, I think, or yes. And there was one thing with the pH part where it would need to be at a specific thing, and it would have to be flashing a blue light, which also kind of made it difficult at first because we didn't know that. And the pH code was really kind of sensible, and it would kind of sometimes, if it was like changed a little, it would display the whole pH code differently. But that was it. Thank you.